You know, all these games like Rainbow Six Siege, CSGO, and It That Shan't Be Named are pretty fun. Most of them, at least. But I always wanted to have a game that all my buds can just sit down and have a jolly old time playing, and I could change it and customize it however I wanted it. But I never really got around to it until now. Welcome to my first devlog of CounterSixSiege.
Not if I can help it.
So to start out, I added simple FPS movement, basic shooting, and had the project files get corrupted 3 times before I got it working. After I got the project files working, I really had to think what is going to be special about my game, because my original idea for it was just going to be CSGO and Rainbow Six Siege smashed together like it is in the name, but it just wasn't anything unique. So, let's talk game design. The general plan for the game is to have customizable characters, because making all those characters, models, textures, abilities is way too much work for one person. I also plan on adding unique objectives, because just planting a bomb or diffuser in a certain area has kinda lost its charm, and I need a little something extra to my game than just that. So I decided to add more than just bomb planning in my game. I'm planning to add a mode where the attackers have to collect a number of documents that are placed around the map, and extract at the same time. I also plan on adding a secure the area mode, where the attackers have to stay in the room and eliminate any enemies that try and contest the area. As for the customization system, traditional ones like the ones in Dungeons & Dragons, where you have your strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma, is a great system for Dungeons & Dragons, but it simply won't provide any challenging and engaging decisions to be made in the context of my game, since the goal of the game is supposed to be more similar to that of CSGO and Rainbow Six Siege, because just having plus 10 speed and minus 10 accuracy won't really lead to any tactical operations or decisions to be made. Enter the equipment system. My friend brought up a great point about armor in games like Valorant, where there is light armor and heavy armor, and he said he didn't provide much of a thought-provoking decision and feels it can be expanded upon. So he came to the conclusion that the game would have different armor types, like some that will block SMG ammo better than rifle ammo and block pistol ammo or sniper ammo better than SMG ammo. This will also prevent the God Gun issue, like the Op in CSGO and the Operator in Valorant, that I find pretty annoying at times because I don't like getting one shot. After we came up with that idea, I thought it would be cool to include somewhat of a stat system mix in with the equipment system, where you would have 4 equipment slots: boots, pants, vest, and helmets. So for example, you could pick between boots that can make you faster but have louder footsteps, or one that can make you slower but more stealthy. Now, back to programming. After I got the project working without any corrupted files, I had made an inventory system. For a while, I had this idea about an inventory system where you would have 2 classes, one for when the item is on the ground and one for when it is held. So when the item is picked up, the data of what the held actor is and the name of the item gets sent to the player. And then the player will take that data and send it to the child actor component. Then it'll look like the item is being held. In order to handle shooting or using the held item in this kind of system, I have an interface set up so that the item will be told whenever the left or right mouse buttons are pressed. Now, originally, I thought I could handle shooting data through the item class itself, but Unreal Engine has a certain couple of requirements for handling data being sent over the network. So, in Unreal Engine, a couple of ways to send data over the network is through replicating variables and using RPCs. There are probably a ton of other ways, but I don't want to explain it right now. So, an RPC is basically just an event that you can choose to have either run on the server, client, or run on all. And there are a couple of requirements and caveats to using these. Which one of them is, if the RPC is being called from a client to be executed on the server, the client must own the actor that the RPC is being called on. And the client is basically a player controller. And in this kind of instance, the player controller does not have direct ownership of the item actor. In order to overcome this barrier, I made it so that the item will tell the player to shoot a bullet, instead of having the weapon shoot the bullet itself. And after I got all that figured out and the inventory system up and running, I was able to make an MP5, an AK-47, and a 1911. As for the art style of the game in general, I decided to go with the PS1 style because it's really easy to make models and it's really easy to make it look nice. I'm planning to have abilities in the game as well on top of the equipment system, so what I made are smokes and Molotovs. As for the smokes, I made an actor for when the item is thrown and when the item explodes. The smoke grenade will only explode if it stopped bouncing, so no in-air smokes or poorly timed smokes. I then slapped the timer onto the smoke itself, boom, disappears after 5 seconds. Also, those particles though. I added simple multiplayer where you can host servers and view currently open servers and then join them as well. Pretty much every multiplayer game uses a client-server model, which is basically players who are the clients connect to a server and send it data, and in return have data sent to it. The server can then choose what to do with that data. If it's something like the player's position, then they will tell the other clients that the player has moved. There are 2 types of servers that you can host in Unreal Engine. A dedicated server, which is used by big AAA budget studios like Valorant and CSGO and Rainbow Six Siege, or you can choose a listen server, where the hosting player will act as the server itself and run all the calculations for the server. For this project, I'll be using the listen server type because in order to set up a dedicated server, you have to do all this stuff like port forwarding, or you have to buy some servers, and you have to do all this code and make porting to dedicated servers, and I didn't want to deal with that. So, I'll just have my players suffer. As for maps, I plan on making 3 maps to start out with. A house map, a laboratory map, and a government building map. I also made a couple of models for each of the different maps to get a sense of style for it. Well, that seems to wrap it up for this devlog. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.